welcome back to the channel. Following on from the last episode where we're on the rebuild side of the Varadero. Last episode obviously we got all the radiator in, all the hoses in, airbox and all the air suction pipes, which there are quite a few. So as regards the actual engine part, that is basically done. Obviously we've got fluids to go in, I've got coolant, oil, I've got to change the oil filter. Today I want to try and get the exhaust back in. I've cleaned up the ends where the old gaskets were basically stuck and falling apart. I've also given the silencers a bit of a clean up. I've rummaged through the drawers and got a selection of exhaust clamps, because obviously if you remember the old ones just literally rusted and fell apart as I took them off. So that's the aim for today, is to actually get the exhaust system back in. Then we can get some fluids in. I've got a front sprocket to replace. So then I can get the chain back on. I've got to quickly torque the rotor bolt, which I can get access to, so I can drop it down, put it in gear, hold the brake, and it shouldn't go anywhere, because obviously all the chains will be connected. So that's the aim for today. The very last thing I've got to do, which I'll probably do off camera, is I've got to whip the rear wheel out and do a rear wheel bearing change. But the main aim is, as I say, to get the exhaust system back in, get some fluids back in it, and then hopefully we can get to hopefully starting it. Maybe not in this episode, but maybe hopefully in the next episode we'll actually get to start it. I also want to have a look at the tank. Have a look at the actual fuel tap filters, quite long, they're about that long, so I want to have a look at those, see if they're okay. But again, that'll be in the next episode. So today, as I say, get this exhaust system back in. So let's crack on. Yeah, so as you can see, I've pulled out a selection that I've had stashed away for ages, brand new ones. Well, that one's a little bit older, but obviously there'll be a new gasket for the front cylinder. I've cleaned the pipes up the best I can, the silencers. I say they are originals, so they have been on there quite some time. The actual main downpipes didn't come up that brilliantly, but I've checked them through, there's no holes, no leaks, so that's the main thing. But as I say, so first off, we're actually going to get this section back in. So connect to the front cylinder, that one connects to the rear cylinder, and then obviously these will be the silencers. I do have some new gaskets to go on for the silencers. But yeah, it's definitely looking a lot clearer. Most of the shelves are getting empty again, which is good. Right, so I've rigged up a light as best I can. Hopefully I can get this in. As you can see at the moment, I'm actually going to use the ABBA stand as a support, because obviously I need to fit the rear pipe in while trying to get the front pipe in. So the first thing I'll do, I can't actually show you really, it's there's the rear pipe and the actual downpipe is a little bit further up, so at the moment it's probably about 3-inch gap, so I need to put that in position. There's a gasket already on there, and then clamp that up, and then I can get this front one in with the new gasket, and I've already got the bolts So I'll get the back one in and enjoy me when we do the front. Right, so that's now in place. I've just got to tighten these two bolts up, and then I can tighten the clamp on the rear cylinder. Right, so that's the front one all tightened. If you can see that one up inside is also tightened. So now I can get the gaskets for the silencers. I'll just quickly remove this bodywork, it's only on loose, and then we can fit one of the silencers and then I'll put the other one on straight after, but it's exactly the same process. Just a case of jiggling it around, and then I can get the bolt through there and the bolt through there. So I'll show you when that's on. Right, so finally that's exhausting. That did take a little bit longer than I expected, bit of wiggling, and also I lost a bolt and it took me ages to find it. I've just topped the radiator up with coolant. Obviously I'm going to need to check that once the bike's started. I've got the oil to do and the oil filter to change. I've also torqued the bolt on the pulley, on the rotor, sorry, on the other side. I've dropped the bike back down to the ground. Let's take you around the other side. Right, I've also, let me get some light. Right, I've also fitted the front sprocket, undone the rear wheel spindle so I could push the wheel in to get the actual chain back on. The rear wheel is going to have to come out, so I'm going to leave that loose for now. I've still got the sprocket cover to go on and the clutch cable to attach. But no leaks so far. So as I say, next job is take off the old oil filter and replace it with a new one. Right, so that's a new one. I've wiped it round. Alright, next job, get some oil in. So I'm going to keep an eye on the oil level, and then after we've done, well, after it's been started, turned over a few times, I'm actually not going to run spark plugs in it to start with, just to turn it over, just to get the fluids moving around the engine. So let's get some oil in. Right, so that's the oil up to that line. So I've done the coolant. Obviously I'm going to need to recheck oil and coolant. So next thing I want to do is hook up the battery. I just want to turn it over a couple of times. I'm not putting fuel through it. I just want to get it turning over, get this oil circulating, get the coolant circulating, just give it a couple of blips. Right, and the oil level's dropped a bit. And the coolant level's dropped a bit. Alright, so I'll top them both back up again and give it another couple of turns. But it's sounding okay at the moment. Right, so I've just checked topped up the oil, topped up the coolant again. Just give it another couple. Right, so as you can see now, the oil level has dropped. It's just in between the two. So again, I'll repeat this process a couple more times and then we'll continue in the next episode. Right, so thanks for joining me on that one. As I say, didn't get as much done as I wanted to get done, or I was hoping to get into the fuel tank and change the filters. The exhaust took a lot longer than I expected. I've only got, I've got to get one exhaust clamp for the left hand side as you sit on the bike. The one I actually had, well, I've got several but not the correct size, so I just need one more clamp. But everything else is in place, it's all bolted up, it's all attached. Again, with the bodywork, I'll show you quickly. The bodywork I've just loosely put back on again. But it's nice to actually have the exhaust system back in. I continued a few more times, just turning the bike over with no spark plugs. Topped up the oil again and the coolant again. The next time I do that, it will be when we start her. So as you can see, big mess on the bench to clear up. But next episode, start connecting stuff up. The fuel taps, the hoses for the fuel taps and the vacuum pipes underneath the tank. Get the tank back in, get some fuel in it. Obviously get the spark plugs back in first before we do that. Or the rear spark plug, the front one I can reach. And then hopefully we'll go for a fire up. Fingers crossed. So, I mean, everything seems okay. I mean, just by turning it over without any spark plugs in there, I've checked around the floor for leaks. There doesn't seem to be any leaking from the oil or any coolant, but obviously once the bike gets up to working temperature and pressurizes, obviously I'll keep checking the fluid levels and keep checking if there's any leaks, and we can deal with that as we go. Maybe tighten up. It might be a case of I need to tighten up a Jubilee clip a little bit more. But as I say, it's trial and error at the moment, just to get it back together and make sure that everything's tight. As I say, it will probably blow a bit because of that exhaust clamp that I need to replace. I'll try and pick one of those up during the week if I can. Any comments in the comments box below? I really appreciate all your feedback, all your comments. I know I say this in most videos, but it really does mean a lot. The channel is growing, the support I'm getting is absolutely fantastic. As I always say, there's a link to my Facebook page. Pop across, say hello. You know, I do try and get to everybody as soon as I can. As I say, it's still an awkward situation at the moment. Hopefully there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm still packing up the garage as I go. But as I say, I'll keep you informed. Hopefully there shouldn't be any interruptions. I try to do blocks of videos where I try to get myself ahead of what you actually see. So I've got a surplus stack of videos ahead of what you're watching. So hopefully with the packing of the garage, I'll probably do a final garage video, because I've been in this garage for a few years. I've done a lot of videos, and it's been good for the channel, it's been good for me, so it'll be a shame to go, but hopefully, fingers crossed, where I end up will be hopefully as good. We're hoping at the moment. It's very can't think of the words, but it's play it by ear, so but I'll keep you informed. As usual, there's links to other videos, top left and top right, normally a best for viewer and a playlist, so go and check them out. Plenty of videos in there to look at, with plenty of the bikes that I've already done. If you're not familiar with the channel, there's the XL1000, the Hayabusa, there's obviously some more on the Varadero, Z650, Z1000 Street Fighter, Minimoto, and a few bits of touring when I do get the chance to get out. And as usual, thanks for watching. Join me again next time. Cheers. Bye.